Okay, girls, here is the video for 4H, dividing fractions. Let's talk about what do we mean by division for a minute when we divide by a fraction. You know, if I had 2 divided by 1/3, what that really means is that I have 2 chocolate bars. That's the 2 whole things, and that I'm dividing them into thirds. So the answer to this question is 6, because there are 6 bits now. There are 6 thirds. And that's what division is. It's dividing something into, before we were dividing into 3s or 4s, but now we're dividing into fractions, into thirds. So the answer to this is 6. So really, it's like 2 times 3. So dividing by a third is like multiplying by 3. Interesting. So that brings us to the definition of this word, reciprocal. And reciprocal just means an upside down fraction. So in this case, 1/3 becomes, or has a reciprocal of, 3/1. So the reciprocal of 1/3 is 3. The reciprocal of 3/4, you guessed it, is upside down 4/3. Kind of interesting. So in division of fractions, we use this. So if we have 3/4 divided by 2/5, we keep the first fraction the same. So we keep it 3/4. And just like we did up here, we multiply instead of divide. So I'm going to take that division and I'm going to change it to a times sign. And then lastly, I'm going to flip. I'm going to take the reciprocal of this number, 5/2. And now I just have a multiplication problem, and I don't need to teach you how to do that. You multiply straight across the top, straight across the numerator, and multiply the denominators, and you're done. 15/8. You could change that into 1 7/8 if you want to. You're allowed to, but you don't have to. You could leave it like this. All right, so let's look at these. It says state the reciprocal of the following. Remember, the reciprocal is the fraction upside down. Oops, don't put equals. That's really bad. So I'm stating the reciprocal. It's 3/2. It's definitely not equal. 5, well, that's not a fraction. So I need to turn it to a fraction by putting it over 1. So the reciprocal is equal to 1/5. To do these, to find the reciprocal, I have to change this to an improper fraction. So 7 times 1 plus 3 is 10/7. So the reciprocal is 7/10. All right, let's look at the next example. It says find, okay, 5/8 divided by 3. Well, I think I need to make that 3/1 first of all. And then I'm going to do keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. Keep the first fraction. Change this to a times sign, and then flip. And then multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. I have my answer. Next one, I need to change this to an improper. So 11 times 2 is 22, plus 3 is 25/11, times by, remember this is 5/1, so 1/5. We did some simplifying before. I'm going to grab my pencil and go, okay, 5 goes in here, divides into 5 once, and it divides into 25 5 times. So I'm getting 5 times 1 over 11 times 1, 5/11. Okay, and finally down here, when I start with a whole number, it's best to write that 6/1, change, times, flip this upside down, 3/1, and I end up just getting 18. 18/1 is the same as 18. 24/1. So 24/1 is the keeper. This is the change, and this is the flip. I'm going to do a simplification. 3 divides into 3 once. 3 divides into 24, 8. So I get 8 times 4 is 32 over 1 is just plain old 32, and that's the answer. Okay, on the other side, I have a couple more. These are just the same. 3/5 times by, keep, change, flip. Boy, I can just cross those out and put 1s there, and I get 8 over 5. I can keep it like that, or I can put 5 3/5. But keeping it is fine. I have to change these to improper. So I go 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 plus 2 is 12 on 5. I always keep that same denominator there. I'm going to keep the divide for a minute, and I'm going to change this one. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8 on 5. Now I'm going to keep, change, flip. Can you do these two? Yeah, 4 goes in. 4 divides in 2 times, 4 divides in 3 times. So 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 times 2 is 2. 3 on 2 is the answer. And there's your work.